Hey everybody, this is Killer Arcade Games. I'm Chris, and today I'm going to be doing a follow-up, or a sort of follow-up to my first-time arcade buyer's guide. The video before this was about what you should either stay away from or what you should look for when buying an arcade for the first time. Now, I said in that video I wanted to kind of go through the machines I have bought and tell you what I paid for them, what was wrong with them, how much money I had to sink into them. Now, I will say this ahead of time. I paid very little for most of these machines. I took a chance because I had friends and people that were willing to help. You're probably not going to be as lucky as me, so maybe stick to that other video, which I will link in the description, so you can check that out if you want to. But I'm going to go through my machines, tell you what I paid for them, what they needed, and how big of a pain they were to get running. So let me flip the camera around and let's go for it. Alright, here I am in the Shedcade. It is a little bright in here, brighter than usual because the windows are actually open. It's one of the last nice days we're probably going to get here in Texas. Cool days where you're going to have the windows open, so I'm trying to enjoy it, air out the shed. But anyway, let's start with Target Terror. This is a game that I never really played a whole lot in arcades. In fact, I played it maybe twice in arcades, and I decided, you know what, I'm going to actually just buy it. It looks like a fun game, and it is. I'm happy with my purchase on this. Let me zoom out a little bit with a fisheye lens. There we go. This one, when I got it, was working. Everything was working except the red color on the screen. There was no red, so this, like, well, it went away. Any text, like this text down here that said press start, would have just been black. Now the game was still playable, but it wasn't a great experience. I was hoping it'd be something easy, like open up the coin door, do the video adjustment on the board. It was not that. No matter what we did, it didn't fix it. Jojo from the Wicked Arcade came over and we started tinkering around on the neck board of the monitor, hoping that we'd find like a broken solder joint. We touched up a few spots, reflowed a few spots, and it still didn't work. Found out the IC chip that is on the neck board was out. That was a cheap fix, thankfully. I think I forgot to even mention how much I paid for it right off the bat. Anyway, $600 to buy the cabinet. The IC chip was, I think $9, $10 on eBay. Found new old stock, thankfully. We soldered it in, or Jojo soldered it in for me because I didn't really know how to solder at the time. And a few adjustments later, and this thing was looking good. So, yeah, it was not this was an easy cabinet, ultimately. I mean, it was a hassle to figure out what was actually wrong with the monitor, but we got it done. It didn't cost a ton of money, and it's been a fun game. So, yeah. Now let's move on to MK4. I should probably save this one for later because this one actually took a lot of work to get going. So I found the cabinet. I've been wanting this game for a long time. I used to have an arcade 1-up cabinet, like one of these, themed as MK4 with an MK4 PCB inside of it. So I already had a board. I found this near the border of Mexico and Texas for $500 is what he wanted. It did not have a monitor in it, by the way. It had bird poop all over it, all over the top of it. It needed a really good cleaning. But ultimately, the side art looked good. The cabinet looked pretty good. I repainted the front, so it looks really good now. I knew I needed some controls work done to it, some new Lexan on the deck. So I knew it would cost me some money to fix it, and I had to find a monitor. It was dead empty. There was a PCB inside, though, and it actually worked. So now I have two Mortal Kombat 4 PCBs. I talked the guy down to $450. I tried to go as low as $400, but you know, when he said $450, I was like, that's a good deal anyway. So I took a chance on it. Had to find a monitor. Haven't had great luck with that. Thankfully, Mike's Amateur Arcade Monitor Repair helped me get the chassis running on this tube. This tube was pulled from a California Speed. Actually, no, that's not this tube anymore. A tube was pulled from the California Speed cabinet you'll see later in this video. And I tried to use that tube, and that tube was really tired. So I found more tubes to buy local, or not locally. I had to go all the way to Houston to get the tubes. Ended up finding that even the two tubes I picked up from this guy were tired. This is one of the two, the better of the two. It looks pretty good on camera, but if you see it sitting next to KI, and keep in mind the window is open, so KI is looking that bright and beautiful, and this is looking just okay. Until I can find another tube to put this chassis on, I think I'm just stuck with it. It still looks good, it's still playable, especially when the shades are down in here, but it really doesn't look nearly as good next to KI. But anyway, so I think if you could say I probably spent $200 getting the tube, getting it up and running, and probably another, let's see, for the deck and controls, I was able to keep the art and the original marquee. That's how somehow good of condition all this stuff still was. I was able to keep all that, so I probably spent somewhere around $700 to $750 to get this thing up and running, but that's still a pretty good price. It was a little bit of a hassle, but I got it going. Okay, now we gotta move to my pride and joy, my most favorite cabinet in here, the Killer Instinct arcade cabinet. I love this thing. This one actually has quite a different story than all my other cabinets. I truly love this thing. This is my favorite game by far, arcade game-wise. And there's a different story behind this cabinet, but let me just mention some of my KI love, because Killer Instinct is essentially what started this channel. I took an old arcade one up. This is like when they first came out. This is a Street Fighter 2, an old Street Fighter 2 that I turned into a KI. It's gone through a couple changes, but this was before I had the Shedcade, and I had to have this upstairs in my house, so this was the best I can do. And anyway, I made a video about it. The video went up on some random YouTube channel. I just made a nonsense channel, threw it out there, and all of a sudden here we are. I've got like, 15,000 subscribers, and I have a shed in my backyard that's now my arcade. So yeah, the Killer Instinct ultimately got this going. I had no plans to start a channel, but that took off so well that I had to. So this one was offered to me privately. All my other cabinets that you see and that you will see were all bought on Facebook Marketplace. But this cabinet was literally sold to me privately, messaged to me, and I'm very grateful for that. If you know anybody on the Killer Instinct official one who plays online, they go by the name of Mel. That would be the guy who sold me this cabinet. He sold it to me for $1,300, which I think was a unbelievably great price. Thank you again, Mel, for hooking me up with that. But he wanted it to go to a Killer Instinct fan's home, and boy, did it ever. I love this machine, and I will not be getting rid of this thing ever, as far as I'm concerned. If I hit hard times, I'd have to just let go of all the others, but I'd never let go of this one. So this one was in great shape when I got it. The monitor looked exactly as you see it now. I may have adjusted it a tad, changed some of the brightness and all that. Really beautiful Hantarex Polo monitor in here, and didn't need any work. It looked like that. That's what you should be looking for when buying a arcade cabinet as a new arcade buyer. Look for something that looks as good as that, or Hydro Thunder, even MK4. Don't look for anything with problems, because that's one of the hardest things to fix, in my opinion. So on this cabinet, all it really needed was a good cleaning. It needed a new marquee print. The original was burned from the light behind it. I also went ahead and just decided to replace the Lexan cover, which had cigarette burns from when it was in an arcade. All the controls were just worn out, in my opinion. I always like to start with a fresh set anyway. Put a fresh set in there, cleaned it up real good, painted the front just like the other one. I did put this button on the front, so I didn't have to be in free play mode if I didn't want to be, but I ended up just putting it in free play, so I could put the panel back there and take the button out. Luckily, it's not a permanent change to the cabinet. I wish I could show you the side art on these, because they all look pretty good except for a few spots, but KI specifically looks really good on the left and right side. And if you want to see information on how I got all these, picked them up, got them up and running, I will leave links to each one in the description. I have like a playlist for each game usually, and it will show you what it took to get them going in more detail. But yeah, this one was good to go, 1,300 bucks. I paid $150 to some local movers to get it out of his house and put it on my trailer, because I just didn't want to try to hassle with getting it through his house, and he didn't want to either, so we hired professionals. And yeah, good deal there. He even threw in an extra PCB, got that up and running, swapped out a ROM chip on it, and we're off to the races. So now I have extra PCBs for KI and MK4, which is good. I hate to hoard things like that, but I will possibly use them in the future. If one of these fails on me, I've got another one ready to go. And unfortunately, no, I'm not going to sell it to you. I'm not going to sell you any of these machines or the PCBs, so don't ask. Anyway, let's move on to Hydro Thunder. This was my first ever arcade pickup. I was nervous about it, went all the way down again near Mexico to pick it up. But this one was not in as good a shape when I got it. It was probably a huge mistake to buy it as a new arcade buyer, but I knew I could either work with it or find someone to help me, so I took a chance on it. I love Hydro Thunder. I worked in an arcade that had this, and we played the heck out of this game. I paid $450 for this one, if I remember correctly, and I know it was around $450. I can't remember 100%, but this one was working when I got it. The only problem was the monitor was just trashed. It really needed a new Flyback Transformer. It needed a cap kit. Thank you again to Jojo from the Wicked Arcade. He hooked me up with that. Also, the throttle on over here was not working that well, and I tore it down, bought a used one on eBay, and just compiled the parts of each of both throttles, the assembly inside of here. You can't see it here, but again, in the description there'll be a video where it shows me working on that. And yeah, built a decent working one out of two mediocre ones. It's still not 100% perfect, like this is a little weak. It doesn't really hold itself up all the way anymore, but that's fine. The lights are not working on this cabinet. That is one thing I've not fixed yet. I'm gonna get to that eventually. There was a pinched wire inside the throttle which caused a short, which caused a fuse to trip or blow, and caused me to figure out when I replaced it, oh, there's a big problem because it started smoking inside. So yeah, I got to rewire a bunch of stuff, but it's not that big a deal to me. I don't need the lights. So with the cap kit on this one, I think I actually threw JoJo some money because I just felt so bad about him coming over. I didn't really know him very well then, and he was like, oh, it's no problem at all. But I'm like, you came over here and you fixed this thing for me? I probably gave him some cash. So we'll call that 120 for the flyback and everything. I would say, oh, and then the throttle. The throttle is about, I think, 50 bucks. So we're at 170 plus the we're going to call it 450. Let me do some math. So I probably ended up paying about 620 bucks for this, and it's not bad. So you can get great deals if you're willing to put in the work on them. But again, if you're a new buyer, just buy this thing already working to save yourself the headache. You'll probably have to repair it at some point in the future anyway, so give yourself time to familiarize yourself with it, and then maybe you'll be more willing to work on them at the time. All right, and here we are in the corner. The Rush has a hat that was sent to me by RetroMod64. He made some Rush hats for me, and I just kind of put them up there. Try to remember to wear it when I'm streaming and playing, but I always tend to forget. This is my Rush the Rock cabinet. RetroMod64 is actually the guy who alerted me that this was for sale near him. I had to drive all the way to Houston to get it, about 3 hours. Had to rush after work, rush home, hook up the trailer, head to Houston, come home late with it, but it was worth it because I love this game. So this one, again, was not in great shape when I got it. In fact, the monitor was not working at all. The ad said it was playing blind, which means the screen's just totally out. You can hear it playing, you can play it, you can feel the feedback, but it's not working. I hoped for an easy fix. It was a bit of a hassle, but again, JoJo from the Wicked Arcade saved me on that. We got it running, he donated a few parts for it, and we got it up and running, thankfully. All the speakers work, the surround sound, the subwoofer in the seat, thankfully. This is one of the few arcades that has true surround sound. Hydro Thunder has holes to let the bass vent through. This has speakers here and here, here and here, and a subwoofer. It's like a 4.1 sound system, and it's really good. You can hear actual surround effects. But anyway, I could go on forever. This was a converted cabinet. It used to be just a regular San Francisco Rush. It still has the old art with the stickers over the side. The art is in, rough shape. This cabinet was not in great shape when I got it. Interesting thing about this, you might want to go watch the video on it. When I picked it up, the guy I bought it from had it at his business, and he had a crane inside, like built into the building. He just lifted it with like some straps, lifted it up and put it on my trailer. By far the easiest arcade pickup I've ever done. Even easier than hiring the movers in that case. Everything worked pretty well, actually. All the lights worked. They work now. It's probably hard to see with the window open. Once we got the monitor up and running, it just needed a thorough cleaning. And in fact, behind the dash, this dash lifts up. Behind it, in the area where the buttons are, I found a mouse or a mice nest, and it had a corpse still in there, a nice pokey mouse skeleton for me to reach my hand in the hole and feel, which was awesome, but who cares? I own a pest control business. What does it matter? I deal with that crap anyway. So it wasn't that big a deal for me, but yeah, be prepared if you end up buying an arcade cabinet. You might find mice inside of them. I found a dead mouse in MK4. It's gonna happen. At least it was dead and wasn't, running around, but maybe open these up in the garage before you take them in the house and just give them a good look through. Make sure there's no living critters in there you're gonna bring inside with you. RetroMod had to remind me that I think I only paid $300 for this cabinet, which is a good deal. And after the repairs and stuff, I really think I only spent, because really all that was wrong with it was the monitor, I probably only spent about $450 on this thing total. I didn't even replace the marquee, which I may do in the future. It's a little burned from the heat, or the hot light behind it from the years of use, but it really didn't look that bad. I had to pull it apart and clean it and stuff. The light bulbs worked, but this one had a little bit of an obstruction from the cardboard that's inside of there, which is odd. There's a cardboard thing inside of there, but yeah, it had fallen down. So a little tape fixed it up, very cheap fix. And yeah, I think I got a good deal on that, all said and done. I've had a lot of fun with it. Well, I totally forgot to mention we were going to be moving out to the garage at a certain point, and here we are. This is the holding area at the moment, my work area and holding area for arcade cabinets. I have to use the fisheye lens because it's pretty tight in here at the moment. But here you go. You can see that I currently have a California Speed and a KI2 cabinet. And again, there's videos on all these. So the KI2 is what we'll start with. First of all, this is a most recent pickup. I got very lucky and found this one for $800. That may not sound lucky to you guys, but if you look at it, It's in decent shape, and this was in storage for a long time. The seller was a big fan of it, but he just couldn't keep it anymore. The wife, I guess, wasn't a fan of it hanging around the house. But it pretty much came exactly as you see it. Now, I haven't done hardly any work to it other than getting the screen to work, or the monitor to look better. When I got it, it was bright white. It looked like the brightness was all the way up, and that was not the case. It turns out it actually had a resistor that was bad, and this is the first time I've ever fixed a monitor on my own. That doesn't mean there's not a few more problems with it, but this is a really beautiful monitor. A Wells Gardner U2000, very bright, very pretty. May still need a little bit of work because every now and then the image will jump. It looks like something like zaps it and the image bounces quickly as if it turned off and on almost. It's really hard to explain. It's just every now and then it'll bounce and the image will move up and down and then come back. It happens rarely. There's also been a crackling noise inside there in the monitor, like electricity buzzing, so still trying to figure all that out. That's why I've been dragging my feet on making this a project. Oh, it just did it. I think I caught it on video. Holy crap. I may have to actually use this for repair purposes. All I've done is a $7 resistor to this cabinet, but it still needs a lot more work. Sorry about how dirty the garage is, by the way. Leaves blow in here like crazy. This one needs a thorough cleaning down here, especially. It needs new T-molding, needs a lot of work. The T-molding has been stapled into place here. Needs a painting. Probably gonna get new art here on the sides of the box. Potentially a new deck art. I haven't pulled it off to figure out if it's cleanable or salvageable, but definitely gonna get a new deck protector. So it's really hard to say how much I need to put into this initially. I'm estimating this cabinet's gonna end up costing about $1,100 when it's all done. Let's move on to California Speed. This is by far the one that needed the most work all the way around. So I drove all the way to Ardmore, Oklahoma. I never heard of this place. I drove all the way up there to do this as a project. When I got it, it was in really rough shape. I wanted to see if I could buy a cabinet that needed a lot of work and see if I can get it all up and running again. I think this cabinet only cost $225 when I got it. The guy who sold it to me didn't really know much about him. He said the lightning struck one day and then it just didn't work anymore. The monitor was out. It made a tick, 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 tick. And that was the HOT trying to start up, apparently trying to start the monitor, but it just couldn't do it. So I knew that was a good sign. It meant, hey, I can probably get this monitor going by replacing that. And it ended up needing more work than that. And once again, Mike's Amateur Arcade Monitor Repair helped me out with this by trading me chassis. But anyway, on this cabinet, I'd already decided I was just gonna go LCD. And this is a good reason. I mean, this is a decent looking LCD, don't get me wrong. I kept the original bezel. I'm pretty proud of how it came out. It doesn't quite fill it in top to bottom, but still, it looks pretty good. It looks kind of like a CRT still in there, even though you don't get the beautiful CRT look. So one of the reasons I don't like using LCDs in place of CRTs is you can see that kind of fuzzy look behind it. This game is a medium resolution game, which means it will look better on a LCD than most old arcade games. Like, it'll look better than KI2 would look, that's for sure. But still, it's not perfect. The only good thing is when someone buys this from me, because it is for sale, is this is a off-the-shelf TV inside of here. $100 max. You can go get yourself a replacement, mount it up inside of there, and you're good to go. But this cabinet took a ton of work. $225 to get it, plus gas, plus, you know, tons of stuff. I actually have notes on how much I spent on this. It's around $600, I believe. That doesn't include the labor. This was hours and hours and hours, probably 20 plus hours of work to get it here. Partially because I didn't know what I was doing in all cases. I had to learn as I went. But by the way, look at this beautiful marquee. This is a new light and a new print. And this thing looks so good. I mean, I may start putting LED lights in all of my cabinets because it's so even and so bright. In person, it looks just unbelievably beautiful. But the whole reason I bought this one was to sell it, to fix it up and sell it and see if I could make kind of a profit. I'm not trying to make this a business. I just thought it'd be interesting. Again, there's a whole video on the fix-up process. I think it was over 20 minutes long, maybe 30 minutes long of me fixing it up, and yeah, I think it's ready to go. I did want to show you guys this, by the way. I keep talking about, oh, if the flyback's bad, whatever. This is what a flyback transformer is. This is the anode. It goes up to the top of the tube back there, and it just sticks on the back of it, and somehow it makes that look like that. This does have adjustment knobs on it. These, if you do see these, hopefully they're facing out towards you. And just be very careful if you adjust them because this thing has a lot of power in it normally. This is the bad one that came out of California Speed. But yeah, that's what it looks like. Sorry, the crap is on it. It's been sitting on the garage floor. I kept it to show you guys, and I totally forgot to do it in the last video. But this is a flyback. Sometimes you'll find this little plastic case is cracked, and that's a great indicator that, yeah, it's definitely bad. All right, so the light's a little rough out here. It's, you know, really bright overhead lighting, but anyway, that's the end of this video. I know this was pretty long. I tried to trim it down, and maybe I was able to do a little more editing-wise. I hope you guys enjoyed it or found it interesting. I don't recommend you follow my lead, though. Don't buy games that are in rough condition, that need a lot of work, unless you have friends or people who know how to fix them, or have money to pay people that know how to fix them. If you want to see that video, if you didn't see the original one, look in the description below. It's my arcade buying guide for first-time buyers, essentially. So look at that first if you're unsure about buying a machine. I get a lot of questions about buying cabinets, and I try to help people with it, but I think putting all my thoughts into a video and giving examples helped out. Well, if you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up down below. Subscribe if you're new to the channel for more arcade content. I do live streams playing these machines. I buy games, I fix them up, I do all kinds of stuff on the channel. I even have if you go way back, I have arcade 1-up videos that hopefully will help you with that stuff as well. If you decide these are too much for you, I'll leave a link in the description. I have a how to mod an arcade 1-up video that's done very well for a lot of people. I think it's at like 40-something thousand views now, and a lot of people have had good feedback on it, so check that out too. Let me know in the comments what you think, and let me know what your best arcade score was in the comments, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Thanks for watching.